Hello friends, Alon טהורי here, a certified tax advisor. In this video, we'll get acquainted and learn about certain expenses familiar to us for business activity and what do we need to do to pay as little as possible. So we start with the initial expenses. Our first category is expenses that are fully recognized. What does that mean? Expenses that are purely business, like for example, if I'm doing makeup, then buying makeup equipment, black and everything, for expenses that are fully recognized, because 100% from the purchase, actually I use it for business purposes. For example, if I'm renovating houses and apartments, then I can buy paint and tools and so on, and all these expenses are actually considered focused expenses. Not on the C. Let's move to the second floor expenses we call mixed. What does that mean? For expenses that have a personal element but also a nice element, that is, it's not 100% neither here nor there. And let's take for example some consoling examples, like our cellular expenses fall and talking on my mobile phone with friends, with family. But at the same time, I also perform operations with it, actions that are business oriented. I'm promoting my businesses, discussing with employees, clients, etc., meaning it's a mixed outcome. The mixed thresholds aren't fully known, but rather relatively. For instance, if I live in an apartment, mostly my business activities are from home. So I can't say my entire apartment is truly a living space. On one hand, it's for living purposes. And on the other hand, I can't say that the apartment is for business activities, but rather there's a combination regarding an expense. So we have a rule of thumb, and we usually recognize a quarter or 20% of that output in each case on its own. The third category of expenses, those are equipment purchase expenses. Purchasing long-term assets, for instance, if I buy a motorcycle or a car for that matter, it's clear and known that the same car won't serve me for just 1 year, but will serve me for the long term. Therefore, the full expense cannot be recognized in the same year.
But
I'm spreading the expense, dividing it over several years as determined, and the screen carried in regulations, fear throughout economic life. For the small example, if I'm buying, say, a laptop, then a laptop or a portable computer or any other computer for that matter, he actually sells me only a third of its cost that year, firstly, and then a third more until I'm actually going and finishing the expense requirement. For a numerical example, for instance, her laptop cost me 3,000 shekels for argument's sake, so that year I whispered it, I will claim it as a recognized expense, and so on until I actually finish and reach that spending ceiling. Let's say one last thing, what's the importance of the famous lecture? The expenditure that is ready or involved, etc. All these actually come to reduce my quarter choke for tax purposes when we have income, which is actually the income from my business activities. There are all the expenses. You see, third, I can actually demand, and there is Rabbi Hanaki, that same line within should Solomon, or hopefully it will be substantial, on which income tax and national insurance are levied. Regarding VAT and recognized expenses for VAT, we'll make another video. Good luck.